This podcast is brought to you by Knowledge at Wharton. Please visit knowledge.wharton.upenn.edu for more information.
It is a well-established principle of new product development that a small group of early adopters can influence mass market adoption of a new product.
There's lots of cases where, I buy, they buy. The more they buy, the more excited I am about buying as well.
What is less well understood is the effect the mass market has on the early adopters.
The question is, when they start selling to those other individuals, what is the feedback or what's the impact on the original group?
Wharton marketing professors John Zhang and David Reibstein are shining a light on the topic by quantifying the degree of negative influence the mass market has on early adopters.
It's not surprising in a lot of image-oriented products. I buy, they buy, I'm less inclined to buy, and I'm ready to move on to something different. For example, I was getting ready to teach a case on diesel to my second-year marketing strategy class, and I thought, well, I ought to go to the diesel retail outlet and maybe buy a pair of jeans. I go into the store, and they quickly want to usher me out. And they say to me, excuse me, sir, were you looking for another store? And actually tried to get me out of the store before I had much of a negative influence on other customers. And I think their belief was that if I bought the product, this would not be good advertising for them.
Reibstein and Zhang's paper suggests, first of all, that firms should be cognizant of the potential backlash effect when introducing a product to a new segment of customers.
When we explain it to people, intuitively it makes sense. What's interesting is that we're quantifying it. An example that we talk about in the paper, and we've got data to sort of show that this effect happens. Porsche is doing great selling to, sports car enthusiasts, and had a great reputation there. They're looking and saying, whoa, look at this other market over here of SUV drivers. And Porsche moves to introducing an SUV. It's not clear to me how much they thought about what the backlash would be. What you will see is the Porsche sales were doing well. You see a direct impact as the SUV sales start going and taking off. Not only were there letters to various different publications complaining about how could Porsche possibly be doing this and destroying the brand, but you saw it in the sales too. And it is my belief, and the data supports it, that the introduction of the SUV, the Porsche SUV, had negative repercussions. One of the purposes of the paper is to get people to concentrate and think about that backlash.
Zhang and Reibstein's paper not only documents the backlash effect, but presents a strategy for managing product introductions in the presence of that effect.
What we develop in the paper is sort of an issue of what's the timing, how far do you want to get in the penetration. It's also a function of what's the relative size of those markets. And you're willing to sacrifice some sales in that first market if that second segment is sufficiently large.
Our study shows that, in fact, even with the backlash effect, in many kind of situations, you still want to get into this general market. The reason is very simple. The backlash effect is a dynamic effect. The leverage effect is also a dynamic effect. And by judiciously selecting the timing of a market entry, you can actually maximize the leverage effect and minimize the backlash effect.
So one of the interesting consequences are, if I'm going to go into this second market, should I do it with a different brand? And so there's going to be some follow-up in trying to think about, what's the cost of developing a second brand, and try and compare development of a second brand versus staying with the original brand.
For more information, please visit knowledge.wharton.upenn.edu.